ॐ भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ।
Dear friends, welcome back to the study of the Mundaka Upanishad. We had completed the study, and as you know, we are revising. We completed the study of the first Mundaka with its 2 chapters. Just to quickly refresh our memory and proceed with the second Mundaka first chapter, let us give us a little time to refresh our memory. The subject matter of Mundaka Upanishad is a person who is a successful person in the world, not a failure, not a loser. A successful person from the worldly point of view and from social point of view and from wealth point of view. He is successful, but he has that introspection. He looks around and finds that nothing is permanent. Whatever I try to hold on to slips away from my grip in point of time. Nothing is permanent. That is, when we do come to understand, say for instance, I love somebody with deep, deep emotional attachment. I'm deeply emotionally involved, and our friendship or our intimacy keeps on growing. We are very happy, but something happens. There's such a strong difference of opinion. We take liberties with ourselves, and we hurt our vanity and our ego, and we become the best of friends, worst of enemies. This happens in the world. It is not something that I am imagining and telling you as a fairy tale. It happens. Then, all of a sudden, unexpectedly, some near and dear one dies, passes away, and you are left in void. All these things happen in this world. Some of us look into it and say, oh, in this world, there's nothing permanent, but everything is transitory. What does that transitoriness means? It means that it stays for a while and it disappears. That is what it is. So he thinks, so much of attention, so much of emotion that I have given to this, and it doesn't exist forever. It's a bad investment. We are very, very particular to invest our hard-earned money. It must be safe, it must be secure, and it must pay something back in return. That is what we think. And when it comes to the world, then we take it for granted. So a thoughtful, introspective person, he sees through the game and he wants to know, is there anything holding on to which I am ascertained for eternity I am not to be let down. It will not slip away from my grip. I am what I am. There are persons in this world, though they are highly successful, and let me use the word in Upanishad, and I would request you to get acquainted with these words and their meanings. Mahashala. Mahashala means a man of great achievement. Achievement from all points of view, a successful man from the worldly point of view. Such a person goes to a rishi, a teacher, a knower of self, knower of reality, who has found out the eternal existence that is his true original nature. That is a rishi, Maharishi Angirasha. And he goes and asks him, sir, is there anything holding on to which, first knowing it, holding on to it, experiencing it? Is there anything by holding on to which I am totally satiated and satisfied? There's nothing left to be earned or to be known. I am absolutely satiated, therefore tranquil, peaceful, poised, serene. Is there anything? That is how the Upanishad starts. Let us put it down into commonsensical level, but as a catch point, I'll use such words from the Upanishads, and I will tell you to hold on to those words and their meaning. So the teacher immediately understands and says, look, my dear child, there are two types of knowing, two types of education, two types of learning available to you in this world. Straight away, what are those? One is known as Paravidya. Para means not so sublime, but it is indispensable to live in this world. It is not so sublime knowledge, but that education is indispensable to you to live in this world. That is tertiary education, education to choose your profession, education to equip yourself to live on your own feet, stand on your own feet, live in your own terms with this world. That's a type of education, but that education is not sublime. It is not so sublime, but it is indispensable. Paravidya. This is one. And let us, from the common sense point of view, for our easy understanding, let us say what it is. All the branches of knowledge that human society has developed for itself since the dawn of civilization, every aspect of knowledge which helps us to live in nature, to live with nature, to have a mastery on natural forces and utilize it for the benefit of civilization. That is where we are today. Electricity, gravitation, power, etc., etc. And now the concept of cyberspace, concept of information technology. See how we are progressing in the domain of Paravidya. Not so sublime, but you cannot do without it to make your life and living comfortable. That is civilization in progress based on tertiary education, Paravidya. This is clear to us. The next is Paravidya. What is Paravidya? The sublime knowledge. Veda Antaha. Anta means pinnacle, the summit, the sublime, beyond which there is nothing. The last word of knowledge, last word of understanding what that knowledge gives you, and then to practice it and to achieve it. Paravidya, the sublime knowledge, Veda Anta, or Mundaka Upanishad. Upanishad is Veda Shabdarashi, a forest of words in this. If you count, probably you will have about 10,000 words in this Upanishad. All those words have a meaning by itself. And then those words are knitted together grammatically to form into a sentence. Shabda, Bhakya, and Bhakyartha. Shabda, Shabdartha, word and its meaning. When those words are knitted together, it is a sentence grammatically correct. That sentence has a meaning. Shabda, Shabdartha becomes Bhakya, Bhakyartha, sentence and its meaning. And the teacher who is teaching, he interpolates into it certain ideas. That is Paravidya Vishaya, subject matter of this study, subject matter of this learning, subject matter of this education. What is that? By knowing it, nothing else remains to be known. You know everything. As for instance, there's an example given, I quote it from another Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad. A teacher takes a student to a potter's shop. A potter. He, with his ingenuity, with his imagination, with his capacity to design in his mind, how should the pot look? What should the pot be of? What shape and what size? And he does it deftly with his fingers on soft pot of clay on a potter's wheel. And he prepares cups, mugs, jars, huge jars, tubs, flower tubs, and so on and so forth, thousands and thousands in names and forms, utilitarian value. So the teacher takes him there. What are you seeing? Oh, sir, I am seeing world of things here. Innumerable diverse things of diverse shapes, sizes, names, forms, and utilitarian value. And they have their quality, strength, and capacity to bear the load of the earth. This is what I see. The teacher says, so you are lost in this diversity, is it? Yes, sir, I am. I don't know how many thousand types of things are here. Go and get me a strong stick. He goes and gets it. Break down everything. His teacher says him, break down everything. And he breaks down everything. What remains? Sir, clay. Clay remains. That is Nama Bacharambhanam Vikaranamadeyam Amritam Mrittika iti eva satyam. This is a quote from Chandogya Upanishad. What does it say? It says, now my dear child, going through this experience of seeing the diversity in a potter's shop, you are carried away by the diversity and your focus or your attention is not on what it is made of. You're carried away by the shape, the size, the name, the form, the qualities and its utilitarian value. Nama, Rupa, Guna, Artha, Kriya, Karitva. You are carried away by that. Now I am forcing you to see, after breaking the name, breaking the form, breaking the shape, breaking the size, breaking its utilitarian value, what remains? Mrittika iti eva satyam. The reality behind the appearance is the clay. Bacharambhanam vikaranamadeyam. This is a vikara, a diversity. That diversity spells a magic wand with words. And they create this diversity. They are unrhythm, unreal. Why? It does not last the test of time. Trikala abadita jnanam satyam. What is reality? What is truth? That which stands the test of time, past, the present and the future. Mrittika iti eva satyam. All that name and form and qualities and utilitarian value is broken down. The reality is the clay. Mrittika iti eva satyam. Paravidya Vishaya is that type of self-education with the help of scriptures, with the teachings from your Guru, and by your own self-exerting education, self-education, you first understand what is real, what is unreal, and what appears to be real, but in point of time is proved to be unreal. 3 stages of awareness. One that does not exist, but there is a word for it. As for instance, Shashasringa, horns of a hare, a rabbit. Do the rabbits ever have a horn? Never. But I say horns of a hare. The words have such an influence on you, it immediately creates an image, a rabbit with 2 long ears and 2 horns growing there. It's impossible. It never happens. It is alika. It does not exist. It's a myth. It's a play of words. And I'll use another word. Bandha putra. Bandha is a barren woman who has not delivered a child. And you say, child of a barren woman. The words have a strength because I give some force to these words. and the words impress me, and I try to create in my mind what is the meaning. Child of a barren woman. How could it be possible? You say it is barren and you say the child. It's Alika. It is a myth. It does not exist. Shashasringa Bandhaput. This is Alika. Then it is Vyavaharik Mithya. All that we experience in our lifetime. Vyavaharik, that is, it is real to some extent. I am interacting with you. I am emotionally involved with you. I respect you. I love you. How can I say it is unreal? But I will tell you an incident from my own life, how my teacher helped me. Myself and another Swami of mine, we were deeply in friendship. Myself and Chandan Maharaj. And when we were studying under Swami Jagadananda ji, we shared the same room so that we can constantly discuss and talk. And Jagadananda ji watched that and noted that Chandan Maharaj and myself, Swami Chandrananda ji, and I was still a brahmachari, we were extremely close, the best of friends in the world. One day in our class, Swami Jagadananda ji was telling us about this concept of Vyavaharik Mithya. Vyavaharik, in a day-to-day usage, I'm sorry. In day-to-day usage, it seems to be absolutely real. My friendship with Chandan Maharaj is absolutely real, unbreakable. And Jagadananda ji Maharaj that day, while teaching the Mundaka Upanishad, tells us that is Vyavaharik Mithya. Why Mithya? It does not stand the test of time. I charged him. I was a young boy of 26 then, and he was nearly 77. I feel ashamed to say so now, but I must be honest, and that is how I have learned. I told him, Maharaj, why are you decrying this divine friendship and relationship? It is divine. It is divine. Why are you sort of criticizing it? I don't understand. Oh, you don't understand? Will you do me a favor, he said. I said, yes, Maharaj, I will. Why not? And you learn your lessons of life. I said, all right, Maharaj, what is it? Now, from now onwards, whatever Chandan tells you, you say the reverse thing, the opposite thing. Don't try to be rational. Don't try to be emotional. Follow my instruction. Whatever he says, you contradict. And come and tell me after 3 days what's happened to you. What happened is, I followed Jagadananda ji's instruction. And whatever Chandan Maharaj said, I used to call him Chandan Dada, my elder, Chandan Dada. Whatever he said, I very politely contradicted him. That's what Jagadananda ji told me. Slowly and slowly I find Chandan Maharaj was getting annoyed with me. What has happened to you? You are always contradicting me. I kept my cool, but I continued. Ultimately, what happened, on the third day, Chandan Maharaj goes to the Mahant, the head of the institution, sir, change my suite, I'll go and sleep in another room. I can't stand his presence. We were the best of friends. What happened? I stopped to pamper his ego. And as his vanity and ego was not pampered, our so-called divine relationship, a friendship which is unbreakable, was in tatters. Then on the third day, Jagadanandaji asked me, what is the end result of the game? I said, sir, he has asked the Mahant to change his room. He cannot stand my presence. He doesn't want to see my face. So, this is what Vyavaharik Mittha is. Vyavaharik Mittha. That this Jagatik relationship, this worldly relationship appears to be real, but on testing, it fails you. And then the third level is Paramarthik Sat. Paramarthik, that is nothing doing. Trikala Avadita Jnanam Satyam. On the three phases of time, it does not change, it is eternal. That is truth, that is Satyam. So when we are students of the Vedanta philosophy, please always remember these few words. Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. Why it is so? First, you be a little open, be receptive and listen. While listening, you let it not enter through this ear and come out of this. Let it be retained in the center. Let it be assimilated by your brains. Absorbed and assimilated. That is Shravana. Manana is to cogitate on those ideas whether they are really real or they appear to be real, and on testing in time it appears to be false. Manana. That is, you are developing a rock solid, crystal clear, intellectual conviction. Manana. When that happens, then you are really motivated. With a hesitant intellect, you have no motivation. A rock solid intellect develops into a motivation. And Nididhyasana means motivated to experience that truth which is in your brains now. It should saturate your whole being, and you be and become one with your thought. What is imagination today becomes a realization tomorrow. This is, my dear, is Paravidya Vishaya. This is a subject matter which he will raise now. Prior to that, he says, please, however intelligent you may be, don't try to venture to find out a path for yourself without a guru. Now, immediately a modern intellectual egoistic person would say, why should I need a guru? My intelligence is good enough. That is what the modern attitude is. Guru, God, and etc., they don't exist for me. That is slavery. You are surrendering the freedom of your intellect, your ego. That's what people argue. But listen to me. Why you need a guru? When you were a student, you were told that branch of mathematics known as geometry has to be learnt. It has great relevance in your day-to-day life if you want to be an engineer or if you want to be a man of sharp common sense. You must know that. You don't know anything about geometry. So what do? You go and attend a class, and the professor is an authority in that subject known as geometry. And how does he teach you? He tells you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing else but the truth. the theory. Two sides of a triangle are greater than the third side. You don't know anything of it. He writes on the table, board, two sides of a triangle is greater than the third side. Euclid's theorem number so and so. And then what he does? He brings him down to your level. And then holds you by your nose, as it were, your nose ring, as it were, like a child guiding a wild buffalo through the nose ring. He gets you hold of that nose ring and he guides you. These are the two triangles, A, B, C, D, E, F. And step by step, bringing himself down to your level, and from there, based on sharp common sense, he moves. Therefore, this is this. As because this is this, therefore, this is this. As because this is this, therefore, this is this. I have proved without the semblance of doubt, two sides of a triangle is always greater than the third side. QED, no more questions, and you say, sir, I do understand. You did not know anything about it. That teacher of yours says what is the truth, the reality, nothing but the truth, and then he brings him down to your level, gets you by your hand and guides you and tells you, this is it. Do you understand, dear? You have been guided in such a commonsensical, rational, logical manner, you can't say no. And you say, yes, sir, I do understand, and I've understood in such a manner, I can explain it to another. That teacher is your guru in Paravidya Vishaya. And when it comes to Paravidya, you say, I am intelligent enough, I am egoistic enough, I don't need anybody's help, I can do it myself. Isn't it utter stupidity? That man was like you one day. His guru had helped him to reach that goal, and now he's asking you to help others. And you are refusing to be helped, egoistically. What are you doing? You are harming yourself and nobody else. You are keeping all your doors and windows closed. You are refusing to evolve. So, in the second chapter of the first Mundaka, which we have revised very well, what have we revised? We have revised the amount of hard work, the amount of perfectionist that I have to be to perform all the yagas and yajnas and etc., etc. And there are many situations which are beyond my control, but they must be helpful. And they have no control on them and have to be perfectly performed. It has to be perfectly performed. My, what an effort that I have to put in. And if I do not do it rightly, my lower 3 generations and upper 3 generations, including me, 7 generations, will be cursed by heaven. What a dicey game I am playing. Is there anything that I work hard, but in return I get something which is eternal, infinite, absolute? It is not Vyavaharik Mithya, it is Paramarthik Sat. So there are people who going through Karmakanda And now that is an old age game, going through the performance of duties of our day-to-day life. Let us forget about the civilization of the days in the forest. Let us look at this. From morn till evening, when I wake up till I go to bed, my sense of duty or a little sense of hobby, I've kept a little time for my hobby, I am busy. I am busy. And while performing my duties of life, I am not aware, I have not been educated to be a karma yogi, I am a karma bhogi, I expect positive results from my actions, not knowing the world and its movement is not under my control. If by chance I succeed, I am in cloud nine, and if perchance I fail, I drop on mud with a thud. That's what my life is. I would like to stop the swing of a pendulum. I would like to be constant. How constant? Like a magnet pointing to the pole star all the time. However you remove it, the needle points that direction. I'd like to be that magnet, always pointing towards my true original nature. So, Pariksha Lokan, that is the shloka which is very, very important. Shloka number 21 serially, shloka number 12 according to the Khanda. What does that shloka say? Pariksha Lokan karmachitana brahmano nirvedamayat nasti akrita kritena tad vijnanenam sa gurumeva vijjet tad vijnanartham sa gurumeva avigachet samitapani shrotriyam brahmanishtam. The paraphrase is Lokan pariksha brahmano nirvedamayat karmachitan lokan pariksha. The world, the heavens that I can gain by these karma kanda work, pariksha, I analyze it, I evaluate it, and I see through and through. I balance in the balance of advantages and disadvantages. This is the effort that I have to put in. And while I put in that effort, there are circumstances which has to be in play, of which I have no control. That uncertainty factor is there. If at all that happens properly, I will achieve heaven, and after the duration, when my bank balance comes to an end, I come back to the world. Oh dear me, what do I stand to gain? I am still swinging like a pendulum. Can that pendulum be stopped? Can it be at one particular place eternally? However the world moves, the situation moves, I am poised, seated, ensconced in the magnificence, in the beauty of my true original nature. Pariksha, a man has analyzed, evaluated, and come to this conclusion that karmachitana lokan akrita kritena nasti. That is, the absolute cannot be achieved by activity, by creativity. I am creating karma phala When I enjoy that karma phala, it will come to an end and I'll come to square one. Back to square one. He is convinced. What is he convinced? Karma chitan lokan, that is heaven and other rewarding places after death, they are generated by good deeds in this life. They are nasti akrita kritena. They are perishable. They will give me a result, and when the results are exhausted, I come back to square one. They do not give me absolute result. Akrita kritena nasti. The absolute cannot be generated by my work, performance of my duty. It cannot be. Tad vijnanartham. Is there any way? Is there any method? Is there any possibility of living in such a manner that I work hard, I fulfill my duties of life, but I don't go to heaven? I free myself from my bondages, and I am what I am, the soul, the absolute, the magnificence of my existence. I am what I am. Is there anything? To know that, whether anything alternate is available or not, sir, that questioner, that person who has asked question, Gurum eva abhigachet. He goes to his guru. Now the word guru has two words, gu and ru. Two words means destroyer of ignorance. One word is ignorance, the other word is destroyer of. Guru means a person who has himself reached that goal. Having reached that goal, he extends his hands to you to hold strongly and carefully, not to slip, and he will guide you through a path where he will take you where he is. Tat vigyartham, to experience that vigyartham, tat jnanartham nahi. He didn't say jnanartham. Jnana is intellectual, rational. Vijnanartham is experiencing. To experience that reality, Paravidya Vishaya, Sa Gurum Eva Avigachet. Eva Avigachet means you have no other alternate. However intelligent you may be, Acharya Shankara has a wonderful sentence. This Gurum Eva Avigachet. He is trying to instill in you the necessity of having a teacher. What does he say? Let me read this section from the Shankara Bhashya, Shankara's commentary, to clarify your thoughts. What does Shankara say? Shastragyo api. You have mastered the whole Upanishads. Intellectually, rationally, logically. You know intelligently what the Upanishad teaches you. Shastragyo api. Even though you are an eminent scholar of the Shastras. Satantrena, Brahma Jnana Anveshanam na kuryat. Satantrena Shastragyo api. You have mastered rationally and intellectually the Shastras. Rationally, intellectually. But to achieve that, you must not make a direct effort. Gurum eva abhigachet. Swatantrena brahmajnana anveshanam na kuryat. Never attempt to do what? Swatantrena. No, I don't want any help. I've understood it. I will do it myself without anybody's help. Never make that mistake. Why? You have never walked that walk. You have no map, you have no guide. That is a path which you have to walk intelligently with day-to-day guidance of your Guru. He will tell you where you are going wrong. He will tell you what you should not do. If you listen to him, you will reach the goal. If you don't listen to him, you'll keep on rotating around. Shastragyo api. You are a very erudite scholar of all the Shastras. But Swatantrena, independently, Brahma Jnana Anveshanam na kuryat. Never ever dream of walking this walk without the guidance and help of your Guru. Gurum eva abhigachet. You have no alternate. You have no freedom, you have no choice. How do you go? Not with the modern way. Hi, Guru, could you teach me? None of those stupidities. Samitapanim Satriyam Brahmanishtam. What type of a Guru? He is Brahmanishta Guru, and he knows the Shrutis very well. You are a Shastragya. You have read the Shastras, and he has lived it. He has assimilated it, and he has lived it. You have only understood it rationally, with plenty of vagueness. Savitapani. Savitapani is, this is something we should very well understand. You know, dears, the world is a place of give and take. There's nothing without give and take. So what is the give and take between you and your Guru? He's an old, mature man. Physically, he's not as active as young you are. He doesn't have the capacity to go to the forest and collect twigs and branches to keep his home fire burning. He doesn't have it. So, don't go empty-handed. Even if you don't go with fruits, sweets, flowers, eatables, at least go with a handful of twigs and branches to keep his home fire burning. Go with something as an offering. Don't go empty-handed. Savetpanim Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam Gurum Eva Abhigachet. Satantrena, independently, Brahma Jnana Anveshanam na kuryat. Never dream of that I am intelligent enough to find my soul. You need help every step. He would say, "This appears to be wonderful to you, my dear child, but it will ultimately be a bondage. Be very careful. There are two types of chains to bind you with. One is a shining golden chain, and the other is a rusty steel chain. You will be able to find out which is a rusty steel chain. You will not know what a golden chain is. You would love to be bound out by golden chain." So that is what the Shishya, the student, should do. Now look at the excellence of the Upanishad. The Upanishad tells you what the Guru should do. If he finds a worthy student, worthy, mind this word, not just a funny, fussy, just high, shallow, no. A student who is very deeply involved to know the secret of life. When a guru has seen such a student coming to him, he has no escape. He has to accept him, and he has to be his lifelong mentor. So the last shloka of the Prathama Mundaka is this. And it is, mind you, I'm revising the last two shlokas of this chapter. Tasmai savidyan upasanyaya samyak. Samyak, perfectly, totally, whatever has been instructed in the Upanishads, following in the strictest possible manner. That person who is Vidyan, who is aware that there is something known as Paravidya Vishaya, Brahma Vastu, Atma Vastu. He is Vidyan. And he has Upasanyaya Samyak. In the correctest possible manner, he has arrived at the feet of his Guru. And who is he? What is his mental makeup? Prashanta Chittaya Samannitaya. Prashanta Chitta means absolutely without the slightest trace of restlessness, serene, tranquil, poise, no restlessness at all, serene, tranquil, poise, prashanta chitta, samanvitaha. Sama is total control on the sense organs. That is, the world is no more in a position to tempt him and to make him restless and outward going. Two qualifications, three qualifications of a student. Samyak upasanya, vidyan, prashanta chitta, samannitaha. Anita means blended with. Jena aksharam purusha veda satyam. Jena aksharam satyam purusham veda. The means by means of which, the avenues, the means by help of which, that absolute, immutable, infinite, eternal can be experienced. Jena aksharam veda. Veda means experiencing, not rationally understanding. Jena tat aksharam, immutable, satyam, reality, Aksharam, absolute and immutable, can be experienced. That methodology, Jainam, Provachatam Tattata Brahma Vidyam. Provachatam Tattato Brahma Vidyam. That Brahma Vidya, in its essence, not in a roundabout manner, in its essence, in its true form, tam, to that aspirant, provacha, without any ambiguity, perfectly, thoroughly, honestly. This is what the duty of a guru is. This is what the relevant qualification of a student is. These two shlokas are a preamble to the second Mundaka. Second Mundaka Pratama Khanda. I was supposed to start this today. Let me start it, because this is essential for you to understand. Otherwise, this first chapter of the second Mundaka will not be clear. Now the teacher, the guru, will come down to your level, speak to you with examples of this world, how you can conceive that immutable, absolute Brahma, Akshara Satyam Brahma, how that immutable absolute can be in this diversity. You call it absolute, but you say it is in this diversity. It's a contradiction of thoughts, contradiction of ideas. So Guru now has a tremendous challenging task. The student is a man of this world, where Nama, Rupa, Guna, Artha, Kriya, Karitya has a tremendous hold on him. Only rationally and intellectually he has convinced himself there is something known as Atman, something known as Brahman, which is absolute, immutable, eternal, infinite. All this is in the brain. He knows nothing. So just think what a responsibility the Upanishad lays on the Guru. So here is the first shloka. The Guru has brought himself down to your level. He says, I will tell you a truth, relatively truth, Vyavaharik Mitta of this world. Tadetat Satyam. This is real for all of us. What is real? Jatha Sudiptat Pavakat Vishwalinga Sahasrasa Prabhavante Sarupa Tatha Aksharat Vividha Sobhya Bhava Prajayate Tatracha Eva Apijanti. Here's a worldly example. Before I start on this Upanishad, I will tell you something of another Upanishad. This Akshara Brahma, the absolute immutable, for a realized soul, he lives in this world. He sees the name. He knows the name. He sees the form. He admires and appreciates the qualities. He knows your utilitarian value in this world. A Brahmagya, when he is back from Nirvikalpa Samadhi, Bhuttita Avastha, back from Nirvikalpa Samadhi, don't think he doesn't see this world. Don't have that mistake. He sees this world. But the impact of Nirvikalpa Samadhi is such that all these four concepts doesn't have a hold on him. Your existence, your isness is paramount. And who is he? Saguna Sakara Savikalpa Ishvara. Ishvara has become everything. He is peeping like a peeping Tom everywhere. Now, let us see the example. Jatha Sudiptat Pavakat Bishpulinga. A very, very strong fire, a blazing fire. And you put a fuel into it, a timber into it, and shake it. As soon as you shake it, thousands and thousands of sparks flows out of it. Thousands of them. And slowly they disappear. One blazing fire is the cause of thousands of sparks. What are the sparks? Qualitatively, they are fire. A blazing fire burns a hamlet in a twinkling of an eye, a habitation in a twinkling of an eye, a bush fire, a forest fire. And a spark makes a hole in your shirt sleeve. Both of them are fires. Quantitatively, one is infinite and one is microscopically small. But they are fires. So here's a worldly example where qualitatively the fire remains a fire. You call it a blazing fire. You call it not so blazing a fire. You call it a smoldering fire. You call it a spark of fire. All of them are fire. But Nama, Rupa, name and form and quality and Artha Kriya Karita are different. They are all fires. You call them a spark. You are not afraid of it. It is not fearsome, but blazing fire is a fearsome. That is the quality. That is a guna. And Artha Kriya Karita, utilitarian value. It burns a habitation in a twinkling of an eye and it makes a hole in your shirt sleeve. That is the difference of Artha Kriya Karita, but they are fires. Jatha Shudiptat Pavakat Bishpulinga. Shudipta, blazing. As for instance, from a blazing fire, Sahasrasa Prabhavante Sarupa. Bishpulinga means spark, Sahasrasa Prabhavante. Thousands of them come out and it enters into it. Tasmad jayate, tasmin liyate, tat jalam shanta upasate. From it comes out, into it goes back. And that is what is the eternal. And Shanta Purusha, a realized soul, praise to that eternal entity. Shanta Upashati. Now, an example and an exemplified. According to Nyaya Shastra, which the Vedanta partially agrees, what is a fire? Unseen molecules of fire, Khiti, Op, Tej, Marud, Bom, the five elements. They are all molecular, invisible. When they accumulate together, it becomes visible to our eyes, it becomes perceptible to our skin, burning sensation. And when it disintegrates, when it extinguishes, it goes back to its molecular form. Tatra eva api yanti means it has come out from its molecular form, and because of certain coincidences, it is a blazing fire, it is a smoldering fire, it is a spark of fire, and then all goes down to the molecule of Teja, the fire molecules. Tatra eva api yanti, that is, it goes back to its original form. Similarly, that Brahman is everywhere. That has to be realized and experienced. And this chapter will slowly and slowly take you to the sadhana pada, what a student must do to reach that goal. He will take a few shlokas to establish to you in your mind the ever-present, omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresence of the divine, the Brahman. Thank you, my dear friends. Thank you. We'll meet again next session to continue the study of the first chapter of the second Mundaka. Thank you ever so much.
Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.